Moana and Maui, in search of golden shells. One bright morning on the island of Motunui, Moana was walking along the beach when she noticed something sparkling in the sand. She knelt down and found a tiny, golden shell shimmering in the sunlight. Moana had never seen such a shell before, and she couldn't wait to show Maui, her friend and mighty demigod. She hurried to find him. Maui, with his magical fishhook, was trying to catch fish for lunch. "Maui," she called, waving the golden shell in the air. "Look what I found." Maui turned, squinting at the shell. His eyes grew wide. "Well, would you look at that," he said, scratching his chin. "A golden shell. They say they bring good luck and only appear once every 100 years." Moana's eyes sparkled. "Maybe there are more of them. We could go on an adventure and see if we can find a few together." Maui grinned and held up his fishhook. "An adventure? Count me in, Moana." They set off, walking along the beach and searching through the sands. They dug here and there, picking up all kinds of colorful shells, but no golden ones. After a while, Moana's hopes began to fade. "Maybe there's only one," she sighed, but Maui shook his head. "Nah. If there's one, there's bound to be more. Let's not give up yet." They continued down the beach until they reached a hidden cove that neither of them had noticed before. The water sparkled with a strange, magical light. And Moana's heart beat faster with excitement. As they waded into the water, they saw something gleaming under the waves. Moana and Maui took a deep breath and dived in. There, resting on the sandy ocean floor, was not just one golden shell, but dozens of them. They glittered like tiny stars in the sea. Moana carefully picked up a shell and smiled, while Maui scooped up a handful and laughed. "I told you they existed. Aren't they amazing?" But suddenly, the sea began to rumble, and an enormous eel appeared, swimming toward them. It was Tamatoa, the shiny crab's cousin, and he wanted the shells all to himself. "Those shells belong to me," the eel hissed. "No one can take them from my cove." Maui held up his fishhook and stood in front of Moana. "Not today, buddy," he said confidently. With a swift wave of his fishhook, he created a giant wave that carried the eel far, far away. Moana and Maui quickly gathered a few golden shells and swam back to shore, laughing with relief. When they reached the beach, Moana held up her shell, and they both admired their treasure in the golden light of the setting sun. "We did it, Maui," Moana said, grinning. "Of course we did," he replied. "With a little bit of luck, courage, and a lot of teamwork," Moana nodded. "And now, we have treasures to remind us of our adventure." Together, they returned to the village, where Moana shared the story of their journey, and the golden shells brought smiles to everyone on Motunui. It had been a day of magic, courage, and friendship, and one they would never forget.